we are joined by Danny, drummer of Initiate. What's up?
How's it going?
Good. We were
Can you
just
hear, can you hear me
rocking.
okay?
Yes,
Yeah,
loud and
loud and
clear.
clear. Oh,
Wanted to make
jinx.
sure I didn't sound like I was in a well or something.
No, you're all good, friend. Yeah, so just listen to Waste Your Life. Singing some high praises about Initiate in this record. And yeah, it's very awesome to have someone from the band call in and chat about it. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah. I'm really excited about the record. It's kind of funny because I didn't record on this record. I just joined the band pretty recently, but I was filling in for like a year. So we've
Oh,
been
okay.
playing this song for about a year and a half.
Right.
And it has changed a lot since I started playing it. I think like the recording process. Zach Tuck produced the record, and I think had some good ideas to add to the song, and it sounds really good.
What air quotes good ideas are you kind of referring to? Were there any specific producing things that that he was really bringing to the songwriting camp for you guys for this one?
I think it's definitely like more of like a poppy like verse chorus on some of the songs on this record. And I think like we extended some of the verses, we added like bridges and stuff, and like kind of the song before was really short. It was a little slower too. So I think it's like a good tempo to play live also.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think he kind of helped with that, and from what I've heard, a lot of help with like the surface, like the singing on that, which is mind blowing to me. It sounded so good. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he's had a lot of good ideas on the record and helping out.
Yeah, that's awesome. It is funny, Danny, as well, because when we were emailing and setting this up, we have met in person, but I totally had blank because you were filling in for drums for Super Crush when you guys were up
Yeah,
in
one of the
Edmonton.
carousel drummers for Super Crush.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I do a lot of filling in. I go unnoticed, but I do a lot of filling
I
in for
see.
bands.
I see. Jack, do you have any questions for Danny about the because
Yeah.
this? So, Danny, I'm not sure if you know how it works, but Jack brings 5 picks. I bring 5 picks to the table, and then we have some patrons who are submitting some picks as well.
Oh,
And
cool.
I think when we were talking about this kind of mid-April, uh, Jack was like super adamant that we needed to feature an initiate track and really wanted to see if we could do a call in, which we're here now. So
Yeah.
so this is kind of Jack's end of the stick when it comes to that. So I'm
Yeah.
curious
Yeah.
on what they got.
Word.
Yeah. No. I was saying before you hopped on, I saw Initiate pre-pandemic when before I guess you joined the band, they had played a house in DC. Knew nothing about the band and definitely they won me over. But I think the thing that's just really interesting about this record is it's a huge like divergence from what y'all sounded like. I feel like not many hardcore bands that I can think of, other than maybe like Life's Question, are pulling in kind of like this bluesy or rock and roll kind of tone in the guitar and like musicality of it, because it's really just anthemic. All the songs really seem like they could be just like huge monumental singles within themselves. So like I'm wondering if you have any insight on like why was why did they pivot direction into this kind of sound? Because like it's pretty unique. Like I like I said that other than Life's Question, I can't think of another band that does that. So I'm just wondering why. Because I love it. I think that's what makes this LP fantastic. But I just want to know, like, I guess if you have any behind the scenes of like why that direction took place.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about this morning because I was doing a listen through on the record this morning before chatting, and yeah, it is kind of wild. It's like still sounds like Initiate, like you can tell it's the same band, but it's like a huge leap. I know the songs. I think Alec, the plays guitar, started writing the songs during the lockdown period,
Hmm.
and I think it was one of those things. Like I think a lot of people during lockdown were like, do I want to like dive into this band like really hard and like really take it seriously, or like is the band gonna fizzle out because like we didn't play shows for 2 years.
Well,
And I
and
think
Lavender came out like April 2020, right?
so. Yeah, 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 yeah.
So y'all were
And
kind of in that pocket of like releases that kind of really were like, you know, like it's really unfortunate. I've seen some other bands who had killer records that have either been able to push through that or like some people had to move on to side projects or whatever it was. But yeah, it's been a while since we've heard new stuff, and I'm happy to see that y'all have kind of come around to it.
yeah, this I know they put a lot of work into this record. I know it took a minute, and I think you can tell when you listen to it that like there was time, a lot of time put into
Mhm.
it, and I think everyone just has like a lot of different influences, and I think like hardcore at this time, you can explore different things. Like I know like 10 to 15 years ago, you kind of had to pick your lane,
Yeah.
and I think like now everyone's realizing like, oh, like we can keep the ethos of like DIY, like doing it ourselves, and like, but we can like kind of go and try other different things. And it is cool because this record, like, depending on what lineup we play at like a fest or something, like if we're playing with like more melodic bands, we can play a melodic set from this, the record. But
Right,
there's also
right.
moshier parts on there and
Mhm.
moshier songs on the record. So we've definitely, because we played with Touche, a couple months ago. So we premiered like The Surface live, and nobody knew that like there was going to be singing or anything, but it fit really well for that show.
Hmm.
So I think like yeah, it is very diverse, and yeah, it's been really interesting because I've known Crystal since the band started, and to watch everyone come out of their comfort zone to like try new things, I think was part of the reward for getting this record done.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna pay off too, 'cause, uh, that's another good point about the record, the diversity in it, 'cause I feel like some songs could really fit well with people who really fuck with, like, One Step Closer and that
Totally.
kind of vibe of sound, like maybe some Run for Cover stuff, and then obviously you have tracks where you could hit hard. And so I think y'all played your cards right, and I think it's gonna really pay off. But I had one other question to ask because I was
Mhm.
just looking through y'all's Instagram. Y'all have like a part one of the tour that you're doing with In Time for like
Yep.
West Coast. The dates, are y'all gonna make it over to the East Coast? Because I need I
Is
need to
that
see
part
this
two
live.
to
Yeah, that
be
part two.
announced?
Yeah, I think so unfortunately I got hurt at the end of the tour we did with Punitive Damage. It was like a full 5-day thing, and I got hurt and I'm out the rest of the year, so I won't be on tours, but there will
Mm,
be an East Coast run this year. Um yeah, there's some stuff that's going to get announced
hell
probably
yeah.
within the next few months. It's pretty wild. It's May already.
Right.
Mhm.
So yeah, it should be getting announced probably within the next month or two. But yeah, we'll be on the East Coast. I live in
What
Ohio, so I'm
Oh,
out
really?
here.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit. Okay, cool, cool. So
yeah,
yeah, I'm not that far from you. I live outside of DC, so really not too far.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
What
Um,
did you do, if you don't mind sharing
Yeah,
though?
I was like, is it a embarrassing story? Is it kind of
it
sick?
it's
Kind of
so
funny?
weird. Like nothing happened, but I had like excruciating pain the last day of our tour, so they had to find a fill-in LA because I couldn't play. I
Oh.
had to fly back to Ohio, found out, went to the ER, found out I had an epidural spinal hematoma. So like I was bleeding and like near my spine and it was like compressing the nerves. So I was like
Mm,
paralyzed for a second and I had to get like emergency surgery done and I've been like recovering from that and I'll probably be out likely the rest of the year, but they're keeping me in the band. So I'm trying to
Okay.
find my ways of like, holding like doing my part.
Yeah.
yeah.
Doing
Have
this
you?
podcast hopefully helps the
Yeah.
it's like, well,
No,
I
this
did
is
that.
I've never done one of these before, so this is awesome. This is
Hmm.
great.
Have you been able to get behind a kit yet, or are you still kind of working up to that?
I have like no power, but like I can do like practice pad stuff, but
Okay.
I can't like I'm curling water bottles. Like I'm doing like therapy every day and like I can't lift anything and I've lost a lot of weight, so
Oh.
pretty scary. They thought I was going to be like permanently paralyzed from the neck down. So it was like I'm just happy to be mobile and it's also been really special with this record coming out the last month because I'm so proud of like everyone. Like they were there for me throughout the hospital, keeping up, supporting me, and they've become my best friends. So I'm really proud to see this record come out because I know they worked really hard.
Yeah. Um, is yeah, and like you said, there wasn't any like incident or anything, one specific thing that triggered that. Is that something that just like turns on at some
It
point in your life?
it's
I guess
normally like a head trauma thing, but I didn't have any head trauma, so it's like they're calling it spontaneous, and it's like so rare for this to happen.
that it. Yeah, I've never heard of that before.
And I was
So
supposed to be filling in on bass for Military Gun shortly after on a tour, so they had to find a replacement for me to go do that. It was a mess.
yeah.
Um, so, but we're recovering. I'm at home, starting to make it out to shows a little bit. I haven't been able to make it to a lot of shows in Ohio since moving back. So,
What was the last show that you went to?
Public Opinion.
Okay.
I saw them. They were touring. I made it up to Columbus. I live like an hour and 20 minutes southeast of Columbus. So,
Cool.
for those that are familiar with geography of Ohio, which is not very many people.
No, not very many. Well, Danny, I hope you're on the up and up. It sounds like it's same thing with hardcore. It's a marathon, not a sprint, as
Right.
well as any recovery. So I hope that the record's been out, and when the time is right, you'll be back on the kit, and in the years to come, hopefully you'll be writing the actual parts that you'll be playing as well. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm like, let's demo, but they're like, we're going on tour for most of the year. You know what I mean? I'm like, I have nothing to do. I'm like, let's who has demos? Let's exchange ideas.
yeah, yeah.
So
Is there anything, Danny, that you want to plug or shout out before we let you go?
I do want to shout out my girlfriend who has been incredibly supportive throughout all of this. I just appreciate my friends so much. Everyone in Initiate, shout out to them. They're the best. Punitive Damage, want to shout out them. Um, yeah, thanks y'all so much for having me. This is
Of
awesome.
course. Yeah, yeah. Happy to have you. Before we let you go, I don't know how familiar with the show you are, but we do have a bev check portion. So, do you got any beverages on hand that you want to showcase? Oh, we got the purple
That.
monster. What flavor is that?
Yeah, the zero sugar ultraviolet. It kind of tastes like nothing, but it's pretty
Oh,
good still.
okay.
Hmm.
And there's music notes on it too. So
Nice.
Okay.
Keeping it
Very
on
fitting
brand.
then.
on brand, keeping it. I knew I was like, I got to get something relevant to
Yeah, yeah, very
that.
much so. Danny, well, all the Initiate links as well as yours will be in the show notes, as well as everyone who's called in today. But appreciate you making some time to chat with us today.
Thank you so much. It's been awesome.
Okay, we'll chat soon, buddy. Talk to
Yeah,
you
take
later.
it easy.